Being the spotlight is the place to network and chat with me. Being the spotlight is the place to chat with me. I'm Sue of ID.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my Be in the Spotlight interview with Eduardo. So we were having a really good conversation in the first part about how we use technology, and we were discussing teams and teamwork and in all different capacities, not just the software. Actually, in that we did talk about Teams and Yammer. So all I was going to say on that one, if you aren't familiar with what Yammer is, do put a note in the comments and ask us, because we'll be more than happy to explain anything more on the terminology if you want to know more about what we're talking about and discussing if it's new to you. So this part...
I love talking about it. So yes, please, people, please.
So yeah, I think you'll find that Eduardo and I will talk for hours about technology and our love and our passion for it and everything to do with education. So there won't be stopping us, but no stopping us when we actually probably might end up doing a sequel. Do you know, I can see it coming now. There'll be part 2 of later installments of how things are going. So
I would say, why not, right? When it works good, then
totally. So what did I want to chat to you about this time is more about, and I don't think anybody can say that they've not heard of the term AI or artificial intelligence now. If you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, maybe you'll be forgiven for not being aware of it. But what you probably don't know is how much AI you have been using without realizing it. I don't want to go down that avenue now, but let's just say we've all been using AI in our everyday life without probably being aware that it is a form of AI. But what I do want to bring up is programs like ChatGPT, which probably most people have heard of, but the fact that if you are using Edge or Google or whatever now, you will probably be coming across something like Copilot, which is the AI assistant on Microsoft Edge. And if you're using a platform like Zoom, which I'm using, you won't be getting away from the AI companion that is available to you, that it will be able to assist. Now, my experiences of the AI companion was from a program called Fathom, and I did a chat with somebody the other day, and they used Fathom. I always thought of Raquel Welch in the film by the name Fathom, and I just saw Raquel Welch sitting in on the interview, but how it recorded the conversation and then basically gave a minute by minute breakdown of the conversation that we had, the points were raised and the actions out of it. And I thought, wow, that was really good.
What's happening here?
I need to explore that. Maybe when I get around to thinking about that more, I will do it. But yes, so that was where I wanted to go with you now, Eduardo, because I know that you have been playing with AI, and I wanted you to share your experiences of what you've been learning, how you've embraced the technology, and what you would recommend for those who are yet to get onto the AI bandwagon.
I think, well, even better than I think, I have experienced so much change over this last 10, 12 months.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has been feeling that, observing that. I remember I was attending the Microsoft Ignite. It was just end of last year, October, November. And I was really impressed with the speed in which the solutions are evolving. There has been truly never something evolving that fast in the history of technology. And it is not that it's just done last year. When I was in college, we are talking about 20 years ago, I was studying artificial intelligence. And my teacher at that time was already studying artificial intelligence
Wow.
for the
Yeah.
last 20, 30 years. So people think, okay, this is something they invented yesterday. No, this is not really how it works. But it took a lot of time to connect few dots. You also needed to expand the computational capacity, which means our computers, and you know that because your mobile phone are so much better today than whatever they were 20 years back, that they're making all these things possible. So it's software being developed, but there is also a lot of hardware, a lot of physical components that developed in ways that people just don't realize that allow all that to happen. And one thing that really blew my mind, because I was in corporate for so long, was how limited is the experience of so many people with AI. Because often when you're in a corporate setup, you're confined into whatever the corporate is offering to you. Not even because these days, not even because of cost or other limitations, but often because of security and privacy, which are things that, to be honest, are extremely important. That is a very good point
Yeah.
on limiting the usage of some technology
Yeah.
that I could argue here.
Yeah.
I remember I came across a technology similar to the one you have mentioned. It's Otter.ai, and it does exactly what you mentioned. It will come into a meeting if you're using with Google, for example, and integrate it with your Google Calendar. It's going to come and attend the meeting together with you.
Yeah.
It's going to provide minutes of the meeting.
Yeah.
But what really surprised me is the quality of the grouping of the topics. It's going to provide you a summary. Let's say you've been talking for an hour, maybe there are 5, 6 points, and the 5, 6 points that it gives to you in terms of structure of the conversation is spot on.
It's amazing. Totally.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And then it does things like identifying who are the different speakers, even providing enhanced versions of the minutes if that's something you want to do, obviously transcribing it to text so you can use it in many different ways. Then I was also invited to participate in a process to evaluate some technology that does it a little bit the other way around. You provide it with text, conversational text, and it's going to give you an avatar of a video that is going to deliver that message for you through the avatar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's a person.
Yeah.
Some of the platforms are better than the others, of course.
Yeah.
But mostly I was like, okay, with that, I can probably create my own movie in another 3, 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can probably create my own video game.
Yeah.
All the tools are
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And it may feel terrifying, and I am also a little bit on the terrifying side of the technology. If people are not careful with these things, it is going to cause significant damage.
Yeah.
But I am extremely excited. Think about it, what it can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of unlocking creativity for people around the globe.
Yeah.
Instead of, and it's not that I don't like them, I like them a lot, but imagine that you're not having to watch Disney movies all the time anymore, but all of a sudden I can watch a movie that my friend Sue did with her mind, her ideas.
Yeah.
It was, and it's not a difficult exercise.
No.
But you still see where the human component is so important, because your story is going to be unique. It's based on some of your experiences, the things you read, the things you went through, your feelings and emotions at a certain given time.
Yeah.
And that cannot be replaced by a machine.
No. And that is so important, that that, and I do love to have a chat with ChatGPT. How are
That's
you
a good
feeling
balance,
today?
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's such, he's a good, great friend to have around. And I'll ask him how he's feeling. How are you feeling today? Are you ready for some interesting dialogue? But I have to say, the one with from AI, the co-pilot, when I played with that one,
Yeah.
I was on the site and it came up and can I help
That's
you?
fantastic.
Yeah, I did. It
That's
only had a
fantastic.
limited amount of conversation I could have for free with it, but we went down a spreadsheet exercise, and then it got to the end, and I said, "I'm sorry, but you haven't given me what I want." And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I've not been able to do what you want today, but it's all right. Don't worry. I just knew what I wanted to do, and you just didn't do it."
And you know what is really interesting is that it's right now it's not even asking for money for
No,
a paid account.
no, no.
What the limitation, if you're willing to use that, try that out, go
Yeah,
bing.com and try the chat.
yeah,
It's going to limit you if you are not connected, if you don't create an account.
yeah, yeah,
If you create an account, you can use it freely.
yeah.
And it's not only going to give you text and responses, it's also connected with DALI, which means that it also can generate images, pictures for you. One of the best performing posts that I did in LinkedIn last year got a lot of attention and traction because of the image. And I could not do that in 100,000 years. It was extremely well done by DALI. But obviously, what is the role of the human? The role of the human was putting in a very good prompt, think
Yeah,
about different angles,
yeah,
connect that
yeah,
picture, the history of that
yeah,
with a text
yeah,
that would be serving as the foundation for it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then having the two together.
Yeah, yeah, and that is really good that you brought that up, because I was actually very in the anti AI camp at the start of last year. I really was. Couldn't see me using it or anything, and I was challenged. I was challenged on Instagram actually to change my views, and I'm so glad that I was set a challenge, because if I'm challenged, I will take a challenge as long as it's not dangerous or going to harm me in any way.
Yeah,
I
sure.
will take the challenge, and so I started to use it. And like anything, I was, oh, all right, okay. So even with its basic stuff, I was okay. And then I sort of started to experiment with it more and do more with it. And the more I learned, the more I found it was helpful. And one of the best things I've found for me is the fact that I have so many of these ideas buzzing around in my head, literally, buzzing comes up everywhere. It enabled me to get all these ideas into it, and it to help me to organize and structure what it is I wanted to say or what I wanted to do and things like that. And then we would go off, all over the place, but it had a record of somewhere of everything that I'd done, and we could go back and rephrase it and sort it out. So it's been brilliant. And the other one that I used was Canva. I've been a free user of the free version of Canva for the last 18 months or so. And they had a feature in that one, text to image in it. And sometimes I don't find the pictures that I'm looking for things I know what I want to do, and especially if it's bee related and stuff. It's very difficult to find bees in the spotlight or things like that. Anyway, so I've been experimenting with bits and pieces, and I hadn't realised I'd got a certain amount of point credit for free. So I got really carried away in for December doing my advent calendar and everything else. I did use up all my free credit, which I hadn't realised. Anyway, I thought I could have to find somewhere else that I can go now to go and play and do my text to images thing. So between the 3 days between Christmas and New Year, I decided I was working, but I wasn't teaching. So I thought I'm going to do something different. And so I found 2 or 3. Well, no, I didn't find 2 or 3. I found a whole ream of AI text to image sites that were brilliant. Some you could get and use without signing up and doing an account. You could literally create something, download it, and I thought, brilliant, that's what people will want. And then you had others where you had to sign up and create the account for. So that enabled me to create some very interesting images that I haven't shared to the world as yet. But then the other one was the text to music. Now, I never thought that I would be doing that, but I had so much fun. And then it was writing lyrics to fit the music to get that going. I never thought that was done. So yes, so I have to say, shamelessly plugging my own creations there, two jingles I've created for the show to be in the spotlight. But yeah, it was
it's in many ways an extended concept of the cyborg.
yeah,
I think we had this idea, the superhero that is half machine and
yeah,
half
yeah.
human,
Or Arnold
as they have it
Schwarzenegger.
exactly. But I was always thinking about something way more physical, as if you had to have some sort of component.
Yeah, yeah.
And what we are hopefully many people will realize, and very soon, if they don't want to become irrelevant, is that the integration is not a physical integration. It's about extending the possibilities for
Yeah,
every single person.
yeah, yeah. And that's also brought up a really interesting thing about embracing the technology, which, as you know, is something that I do believe in, with myself having been challenged and going down the digital skills path. You don't know what you don't know until you realise you don't know it. And that for me was the biggest eye-opening experience of going down that journey, and what it embraced, throwing me into the world of social media, where I've, never done anything with before. And it was such an eye-opening experience. But I did a poll on both Instagram and on LinkedIn about whether AI should be introduced into the digital skills curriculum. It doesn't appear in there at the moment. And it was interesting to see the results. The lack of actually engaging in the post in itself was interesting. It didn't spark much interest or reaction at all. But on Instagram, it was the votes were more against the use of AI, even though that was one of the platforms that I found most being pushing AI. Whereas on LinkedIn, it was voted more in favour of. And in the voting, I did ask for people to share their comments of why, for and against. And it was interesting. But I think the thing is, if we don't learn about it, if we don't understand what it is, then you've got that fear factor again. And I think a lot of people fear that it's going to take the jobs away, but also what they haven't thought about is how it can enhance the job to give you more opportunities to do stuff. Then I mean, like everything, there's good and bad on all things, and used in the wrong hands, obviously it can be not for good. But I don't see it as it's replacing me, because there's no person that will be able to stand up and deliver a class the way I do it, my style. I mean, yes, there's other people that will be able to teach it, but you can't teach what I know and what I learned, but you can use the tools to help you to make that learning experience better and more, things like that. So I mean, that's my personal feelings on it, is that I'd rather know a little bit about it and what it's involving than not be using it and think, oh, it's something like that. So what's your thoughts on that? How do you see it in the area that you're working and what you're doing now?
I study a lot psychology, and every single book I came across that talks about what motivates human beings, how human beings have developed over time, talk about interspecies connection, right? So we are who we are, and we develop in the way that develop because we are connected with each other, which is meaning to say, if I could get everything done by myself alone, and I wouldn't need any single other human being in this planet, I wouldn't want to do that because it's meaningless.
Mm,
Will the scope of jobs change? Yeah, they will.
yeah.
I worked a lot with supply chain management,
Hmm.
and I know some people would feel strongly against what I'm about to say, but that is a role within that setup. That is the role of the planner. That is the person that sits on a particular side and coordinates. Okay, I need how this much of this much of that, in order to produce this much of this and that to deliver to these places. And that's a job that can be easily 100% replaced by a machine. Just like some jobs were replaced by machines years ago. You know, if there is no real intelligence, if it's just a simple matter of applying some rule and consistently getting the same outcome, you won't need it. It doesn't mean that you're completely going to remove the human from the equation. You're probably going to need either one of the different roles or a completely different role to continuously look, for example, into the rules that are set for the machines to do the planning, or that are going to look into the outcomes. So how is this translating into results for the business or for the clients or for the supply chain? So that's going to happen. I was talking to my kids about it the other day. You probably watched Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like the performances, especially when the junior actors, the kids are on the very start, the first few movies is horrible. It's really bad. If you watch the movie for the second time, you're like, okay, no.
No.
But that's part of the beauty of that, and that's part of what engages people so much with the movie. If it was a perfect kid acting perfect, performing perfect, something would feel kind of odd, how can this really be? So that is a piece of it that is the magic of translating that book into this fantastical kind of environment. But that is a part of it. That's actually the human that is behind it.
Yeah.
And while that kid can do that, and look how they do it, and this is so engaging for human beings. Again, I moved into my job and then out of my job, and then if I go back to my job, I think this is the same for tech professionals. And you would be surprised. Tech professionals can be some of the most scared at this moment with the speed of these transformations, because for a software developer, for example, that's my background. It started years back needing like a month to put together a screen that would be functional for something, and it wouldn't even look really good, a few years ago, people started with Python, if you know that.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah. I'm not a programmer, but yeah, I've heard of it.
And it's really easy. And one of the things that makes it so easy is that it's very close to human natural language, and not yet the same, but very, very close. And some tasks that I would need a month, I could do probably within a few hours, sitting in front of Python, a console, and automate the work of a lot of people all at once. Today, I can go to Bing, to Copilot, and I can ask Copilot to write the same Python code for me with the parameters that I need. And it's going to do that in seconds.
I know, it is scary. It is scary. It is scary when you look at it like that. Yeah, it is scary.
But then it's not that you don't need the programmer anymore. You still need the programmer because you need somebody to think about the problem.
Yeah. It's the analytical skills.
Exactly.
It's the analytical skills that you need. And as you said, it's about putting in the prompts. Now, people talk about the prompts and things like that, and you have to prime it and stuff like that. Well, for me, I will ask it the question, but if it doesn't give me quite what I'm looking, I'll rephrase it, or I'll ask more questions and things like that. So I don't know quite that is exactly what you're supposed to do, but in my teaching myself how to use it, it's sort of what I've done and what seems to work.
I'm doing a prompt engineering specialization through Coursera. through Vanderbilt, and it's quite a good one. It's three big models. So I still have a couple of them to wrap up. I cannot give you the full feedback right now,
No, no.
but one thing I can tell you: if you went through school,
Yeah.
if you read a lot, if you're thinking often, you don't need to do any course.
Mm.
You're going to get into the way because it's really about having a conversation with the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the smarter you get through learning logical thinking,
Mm.
through learning how to phrase questions,
Yeah.
how to elaborate, the more you are going to get out of this. I was telling my wife, in the past we used to say we are going to Google things,
Yeah.
and in the next few years we are going to say we are going to chat GPT things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, or co-pilot it, or yeah, any of those, definitely. And I think that is the thing. I think that is why it is so important that even if we aren't teaching it to be being taught, to be teaching people about it, as you said about Google, ask Siri this or ask Alexa that. How many people have got these devices in their homes, and they aren't realizing that they're having that conversation with an AI device, because it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't realize that that is what it is. So I definitely believe that is something that needs to be brought in and made aware of, and how it can be used. Totally.
Yeah.
So I am conscious of our time, because I know that you have got a meeting to go to, and there's still loads more I'd want to talk to you with. But what I want to finish off with is probably the biggest thing that actually brought us together in the first place, and that is about the use of social media. I know we met on LinkedIn. I'm not aware of you being on any of the platforms as yet. If I'm not
Not really
mistaken, you
active.
are.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
you're a diehard LinkedIn disciple, where I've embraced all of the platforms here. What I will say is, and obviously this is where the advantages are of investing on one platform and being an expert in that platform, is a good move for those of you that are looking at going on social media and specializing. You will always get told to focus on one and do it well. And I 100% agree with that, if that is the purpose of you going on for your platform. Mine was all about learning what the platforms, how they work and how they operate, and how they could help me in order to teach other people. So I am completely throwing out the rule book for everybody else for what works for me. But it's also made me learn what I've learned today, and meet a whole wealth of people out there that are absolutely amazing things. So what I want to do now, Eduardo, is to ask you about your strategy, how you've gone about using LinkedIn, and how you've really catapulted yourself from, I believe it was 7 videos you said that you made in your previous year of 2022, to, I lost count of how many it was for 2023, but let's say that 2024 we have no idea what we've got in store. So and the content that you write is so varied, and I love it because you are diverse. You have not done what everybody says, niching down and put yourself in one little box. We don't know what we're going to get with you anytime we see in it, which makes the beauty of following you so amazing. It's like, what's he got in the treat for for us this week in the Eduardo box of tricks? So can you share, I don't want you to reveal all your secrets, don't worry, but can you tell us how you decided to focus on the things that you do, and what have made you uniquely you on the platform? Because I don't think there is anybody else like there if we tried, and that is another thing which I think you've pulled off to perfection, your own individuality.
that is so sweet of you. Thank you. I think it's following the recommendation you have just given. I myself, one of the questions I have got lately, uh, towards the end of last year, especially, was why don't you focus your profile? Because, for recruiters that are looking for digital or technological transformation leaders, whatever it is. And it's sometimes confusing because they get a little bit the coaching feeling. And then for the coaching clients, maybe they are not completely clear about the coaching offering that you have, because you still bring in the corporate flavor to it, and you're talking about technology and other things and book reviews. But that's exactly what made me consistent in the platform, and what made it easy for me to leverage it to build my brand over there. It's integrated with my life.
Mm.
I give you the example of my newsletter. My newsletter is not there to sell anything to anyone.
Mm.
It's book summaries, book
Mm.
reviews that I do with my spin, with my
Yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah.
I do it every 2 weeks, and I share it in a predefined format that I have figured out by myself. And that doesn't necessarily connect with everything else. I mean, we could extrapolate here and say, yeah, there are elements of leadership. Sometimes the book is about technology. So
Mm.
obviously we could do that, but that's not the case.
No.
I do that because reading books is part of my life.
Yeah.
And I started summarizing the books for me.
Yeah.
So moving from, okay, this is something I do for me that I think it's beneficial for me, and just thinking, okay, but with a little tweak, I can make it beneficial to others,
Yeah.
makes the entire process simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was probably the reason why I was a little bit skeptical with videos at first,
Mm.
because I was too concerned about the time to record and edit and process. And I don't know how it works with the subtitles. I mean, now we have the automatic subtitles. Before that was not the case. I'm going to do all that, and I don't want to waste more time. But then once I started exercising it, and I found my ways around it, I figured how to integrate in my life. And once
Mm.
I figured how I can integrate this within my life, and it's not another thing for me to do, it's not more things for me to do,
Yeah.
it's just part of what I do,
Yeah.
then it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
And it feels so good when I connect with somebody that previously I didn't know, like you, and
Mm.
we talk about things because we have exchanged it
Mm.
in the platform, right?
Mm.
But at the same time, when I connect with people I actually do know from real life,
Mm.
and they are also interested
Mm.
to asking about the things that
Mm.
I have been sharing and publishing,
Mm.
it makes life and the whole circle really fulfilling.
Mm.
And that's why, for example, maybe different from other content creators, I didn't burn out. I didn't drop creating content for months because I
No.
couldn't handle anymore or anything like that,
Yeah.
because I was never forcing
No.
anything.
No.
It's really part of
Of
how I live my life.
Yeah, and I think that is such an important thing you said, and about the burnout, and you've read all of that people have done this and they put this expectations on themselves and stuff like that. For
The
me,
platform is
yeah,
demanding.
yeah, it
Uh,
is. It,
the,
it, it is. Yeah,
it's going to get every every single second of your life if you
yeah,
allow it to,
yeah,
and it's going to reward it.
yeah.
It will reward you for that. I know people who had been working like 24/7
Mm,
for a year in
mm.
the platform, and yes, they have grown much more than I did.
Yeah, but at a
Some
cost.
personal
Yeah, yeah,
cost.
yeah, at a cost.
So
At a cost. Yeah. I,
you get to
I,
decide
I,
what you do.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. And like I said when we were talking off camera, that for me, it's my use of it has been completely different. To it's not like I've got a business, but I wasn't on there to promote the business. I was on there to develop my skills, learn and get the knowledge and experience so that I could teach it, which in actual fact actually ended up giving me the business, because it was through what I was teaching that brought the business to come to where it is. But yes, I know that there are things that I'm not good at yet, which is like, writing the content that converts and stuff like that. But for me, learning how it works and being able to be consistent and engaging and talking has been far more beneficial for me than doing the other, which trying to find the time to make the videos and do training videos. And when you see other people that are doing it full time for their living, doing such a good job of it, you're thinking, why do I want to go up against the people like that?
Of course.
That are doing it, you know, they're
Makes
people
no
that are
sense.
doing it, you know, they're people out there doing it. So why do that? Why put myself into the box of this is what I've got to do because everybody else is telling me that's what I've got to do? I just got to find the way of doing my thing in the way that I can do with what I'm doing, and that fits in for me without taking over the life and leading down to burnout. And I've only got the 1 day a week that I can play with, and even me, I found in the summer that everything I was trying to do in 1 day was just too much, and I thought, I'm putting myself on this burnout road again if I carry on the way I'm doing. So you have to take a step back and sort of let go. And you know, for me, the challenge at the moment is to manage to get my We Fit workout done in the morning before I go to work, to get my social media content done before I go. Then I go to work and then I come back and have a look at it again. So you know, I haven't got it right yet, and that's my challenge this year, to be able to get it, you know, to get the balance of everything that I want to do. But you know, I loved it when you said I don't set goals. No, I don't. I give myself challenges and I've got things to work towards, but whether I get it done this year, last year, next year, as long as I'm working in that direction of going and moving forward. Because if you say I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, you're setting yourself up to failure. And I did make the mistake of saying, oh, I wanted to do something with the exercise. And as soon as I said that, and I ended up on a let's just say somebody's mailing list, and I literally got bombarded, you know, day after day after day. Are you doing this? You haven't signed up then. And it actually was so overwhelming, getting 10 messages a day, that it just it just I can't be doing with it. I can't be doing with it. So I think that anything worth doing well will take time, and it evolves, and that, which was what we talked about earlier on in our conversation, and going through that experience and learning things. So I definitely agree that, and your individuality with regards to the books, of more things we've got in common, is so important, and finding the content creation that works for you and that fits what you're wanting to do. So I am very conscious now. We're going to do some, for my final question for you for today to finish off, and I'm going to have to get you back for another chat, definitely. Is what advice would you give to people that have perhaps gone through a similar journey to what you have and I have, who at the moment might not be looking at it with the positivity that you and I have learned to embrace? What would you say to them to help them get through? And what would you sort of, as our finishing conversation of today, want people to take away? You know, wow, Eduardo, you know, that is just amazing. What would be your best bit of advice that you would give to anybody else out there?
All the answers are inside, not outside. It's one of the things, or one of the reasons why I'm completely in love with coaching, because that's where you find the answers inside every person. I have mine, you have yours. I can give you pointers, tips, counseling, whatever it is, but it's just like ideas. It's not your solution. Your solution is yours. And that's where you're going to find it. And that requires time. That requires me time. It requires dedicating a few minutes of reflection, really thinking and asking some difficult questions for yourself, to understand how you want to move forward. Like, how much do I really like this job? How much the people that are around me right now supporting me? Who are the right people to be around me right now? What are the things that inspire me, that motivate me? When do I feel like I'm in a flow? What did I do yesterday that got me excited? And the more we can frame these questions in the positive, the
Mm,
more positive answers we are going to find for them.
yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Totally brilliant. That's really, and that is so true. It is inside of you. It's just finding it and looking in. Sometimes we just need that help to help us by asking those
Absolutely.
questions. Sometimes we need to find those questions to help us get it there. And I think that is sometimes the bit that's struggle, to get those questions, to get them out and ask that. But yeah, that is a really, that self-reflection of what it is in there. And I think that's what I said to you earlier about the passion within you. What is that thing that ignites that passion? Because that is the thing that you need to find, that will bring out the personality and get you to be in the be in the spotlight, for your light to shine. That is what it is about, looking at that inner self, that inner life, that self-belief, and turning it into something to make it happen. So I think
And that's what you just said about having the support and asking the right question. Somebody asked me the other day, why do you still have coaches? If you're a coach yourself, can't you do just the whole thing alone? Maybe you do it with a mirror or something like that. And the answer is it's no.
no.
Because when you're alone with yourself, it requires a extravagant amount of energy and mindfulness,
Yeah.
insightfulness,
Yeah.
to get out of your biases,
Yeah.
and explore the corners that you really need to explore.
Yeah.
That's where I have a partner that helps me, for example, with the whole job hunting side of the things. That's why I have another person that helps me with more the life building, the balancing of things. Because alone,
It's
it's
hard work.
possible, but
It's
it's
hard. It is
really,
hard
really
work.
hard.
It is hard
Really,
work.
really hard.
It is hard work. It is hard work. And obviously I have to profess that is me going down the path alone, and it's probably why it's taken me so long. But it's this, how I call it, about the finding yourself. It's finding those things. And I think also, to a certain extent, through teaching other people,
Yes.
that is how you are helping yourself. And I definitely say that's been key to my, if you like, my recovery, was going through what I've gone to teaching others, and being told that you've inspired people or you've empowered people, which are words that I've never had associated with me before. Very therapeutic, I suppose, or massaging your ego. I don't know which way to take it, but anyway, the positivity, it brings the positivity in,
Yeah, sure.
which you need. So, and I think probably for me, it'll be the problem I find with the coaching is everybody can help me. They've got the solution to my problem.
And that's the thing. Nobody has the solution to your problems.
No.
Only you.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I think that this is another thing I love about being the spotlight. I get to chat to all these people and I learn from them, and we learn from each other, and it's just so inspiring to chat to people and everything. Eduardo, I know you've got another meeting to go to. I'm going to say thank you so much for being my guest today on Being the Spotlight. You've been totally amazing. I knew it was going to be a good one. I knew we could probably chat for another hours and extend it into part 3 and part 4, no problem at all. So but I know time has got to us today, so I am going to book you for another spot of Being the Spotlight, where we've got even more to talk about and more notes to compare. But for today, thank you so much for being my guest, and everybody who is watching, if you have got questions that you want to ask, do ping us a message. You can reach me either at the Be It the Spotlight on YouTube. I've got a Facebook group, The Buzz, and you can find us both on LinkedIn or me on any other platform. You just look up for Honey's IT for You and you'll find me somewhere. All right. So thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Be in the spotlight is the place to be. Network driven business technology. Be in the spotlight is the place to be. Tech talk tips for free.